Well, my name is Bill Woon, and we're at the First Special Service Force Memorial in Memorial Park at Helena, Montana. We're putting together for this year's reunion because we couldn't have the reunion. The COVID protocol prevented that. But what we're trying to do is get out to the membership, just what we're going to call a virtual reunion. And always part of that reunion was a memorial service. The first memorial service was held right here in Memorial Park at this monument in 1947 at the first reunion of the First Special Service Force. But what I'd like to do before we read the names of the deceased veterans, is to just give a little history on this monument. It's a very interesting story. As you know, the force came to Helena in July and August of 1942. They trained here in Helena until April of 43, when they went out to the East Coast for additional training, then deployed back to the West Coast and boarded ships in San Francisco with their destination of Amchitka, one of the Aleutian Islands. The Japanese are occupying the Aleutian Islands, and their mission, their target was an island called Kiska. So the force boarded the troop ships and were headed up to Amchitka when they got word that the USS Helena was sunk in the Pacific by a Japanese torpedo. Well, the bond that these men had created with the citizens of Helena was unmatched, and they were so concerned about the sinking of the USS Helena that they put a tax on all of their poker games and dice games and donations, passed a hat for donations, and they raised about $5,000 to be used to replace the USS Helena. Well, the money was sent to Helena, to Mayor Hayden. Mayor Hayden contacted the Department of the Navy to let them know that they had this money to be put toward the replacement of the USS Helena. Well, the Department of Navy couldn't accept it. So the money was kept in a bank account. General Frederick was notified that the money was in a bank account here in Helena. So General Frederick, in consulting and talking with the men of the force, decided that when the war was over, they would come back to Helena and they would build a monument. So this reunion, or this monument, is the result of that $5,000 that was raised by the forcemen. When they came back to Helena, there were about 40 veterans who married local girls, came back to Helena, started their lives, started their families here in Helena. It was spearheaded by Mark Radcliffe, who was an engineer that designed this monument, and it was constructed. And like I say, at the first reunion in August 15th of 1947, they dedicated this monument and this park in memory of the men of the First Special Service Force. In 1949, Lewis and Clark County constructed a similar memorial just to the east of us, that is the Lewis and Clark County Veterans Memorial. So we call this area here the Veterans Mall, and we, like I say, we're in Memorial Park. Now, ordinarily, we would march the veterans in, we would recognize them, we would have a keynote speaker, and we would read the names of the forcemen that have passed since the last reunion. Well, we're not able to do all of that, but what I would like to do at this virtual reunion is to read the names of the forcemen that have passed since the Rockford reunion in 2019. We weren't able to have a reunion last year. We're not able to have one this year. So the list of names of veterans that I'm going to read is going to be from the past 2 years. The veterans of the First Special Service Force who passed away since our last reunion held in Rockford, Illinois in 2019 include, from Headquarters Company Detachment, Lawrence R. Flates. Headquarters Company, Irving Courtney. 1st Regiment, 1st Company, Robert G. Milliken. 2nd Company, Elmer Edwards. 3rd Company, Kenneth Jones, James Boots Beatty, Jesse Whitley, Joseph F. Leachu, Maurice White. 4th Company, Earl Hurst, Bill Doman. 5th Company, Rilo Lee Bingham, Edward Byer, Charles Grimes, Dominic Trimboli. 2nd Regiment, 3rd Company, Johnny Matney, Robert H. George. Fifth Company, Raymond E. Cook. Sixth Company, Lloyd Pollard, E. F. Conover. Third Regiment, First Company, Henley P. Woods. Second Company, Robert Martell. Third Company, George Callis, Joseph Moore. Fourth Company, John S. Riesel. Service Company, James T. Pryor, James G. Wood. Maintenance Company, Gilbert Flores, John H. Crawford. And no unit designation, Richard L. Dooley, William A. Carper. May these men rest and find eternal peace.
Ready? Aim! Fire! Aim! Fire! Aim! Fire! Order! Present! Fire!
Well, I want to thank you for joining us today on this virtual reunion at the 1st Special Service Force Memorial here in Helena, Montana. It's important that we remember these men and that we remember the sacrifice that they made. They gave up their youth at that time. They were young men. Behind us is the cenotaph, and they're real names of real people who gave their lives so that we can enjoy the lives that we have today. And we cannot forget that, regardless of the military unit. Soldiers are soldiers, sailors are sailors, airmen, Coast Guard, Marines. That commitment of sacrifice, honor, and commitment that they give to protect us every day, and our first responders, our law enforcement, our EMTs, our medical personnel, our firefighters. They put their lives on the line every day. And even today, as we speak, they're putting their lives on the line. They're putting themselves in harm's way so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we have every day. So whether it's Memorial Day or just attending a museum, walking through a memorial, I would encourage you to just take a moment to reflect on what the cost of freedom actually is and the blessing and the grace of God that we have to live in this country and enjoy the liberties that we enjoy. Thank you.